Welcome to the Values Forward Show. I am here with Nataly Nislow. I love her dearly. We came together into one another's life at a Rogers OCD dinner. And Nataly, you were one of just the shining stars of that evening for me. Regularly dislike and do not go to any sort of like networking event because I get a lot of social anxiety and I hate it, even though I am 100% like I know how to treat that, and it's to go to networking events. I hate that though. I hate it. I hate it.
I get it.
But you are the kind of reward, this like intermittent reinforcement thing that like makes me think like, yeah, that's worth it.
Really?
Yeah, like if I could get one of you out of every networking event, or even out of like, if I got one out of 10,
Hmm.
I would be going, I would do at least another 10.
Keep going. It was so fun. We just talked about life and it was great. Also, I'm nervous too for these events. I think everyone is nervous.
Do
But
you
like,
think
yes, I understand the social anxiety piece for sure.
that's very validating. I have in my head, well, Brenda, she is my upstairs. Yeah, you know Brenda. Yeah, she seems to think that the nervousness is just contained to our bodies, that we shouldn't have it, that it is a personal failing. And anyway, just like a lot of content. But thank you for that validation. Okay, so you're my food expert.
Yeah.
Tell me how you came into your work. So you're a certified nutritionist. Tell me how you arrived here. Like, give me. It doesn't have to be like full family of origin.
It was a rainy day. Yeah.
I was 7.7 pounds.
Yes. How did I get here? So this is actually my second career. I'm like a second career person, believe it or not. And you probably won't after you like get to know me on this podcast a bit, is I used to be an accountant. I kind of just became one through college, obviously, and I didn't like it at all. It was not my vibe. I knew that it wasn't my vibe, but it was also very practical. Come from, I'm an immigrant. We moved here when I was 7. You know, my parents are very practical people, you know, lawyer, engineer, doctor, like pick one of those. I thought that that was something practical. And before I knew I had OCD, it was also it was like, it's actually very fun to figure out accounting stuff. It's a little bit like a puzzle.
There's a right and a wrong answer in
Yeah,
accounting.
there's certainty in there for
Ugh,
sure.
it's nice.
Definitely. And yeah, at that point was also just very not aware of my perfectionism or almost very proud of it in a way. So, you know, one teacher was like, you know, you got something with this class, you're doing really well, like you should make this your major. And I was like, all right. So I
Okay.
kind of let influences other than mine decide where I was gonna put my, and I ended up with a degree in accounting and also took my CPA and passed that, which was, I don't know why I did that, but I did it. And it was the motivator actually to change my career. So the motivator to study and finish the CPA exam was the thing that motivated me to go back to school. I was like, okay, when I'm done the CPA, I can go back to school and do what I love.
I can see how you would finish the CPA as a perfectionist, not interested in failing. And I have seen this thing through, and by golly, I am going to do it right, and I'm going to pass this test, and I'm going to finish it up, and then I can do something else. But I am not walking away from here a failure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was really reinforced with like my parents really like finish what you started. And there was just this very strong ideology of like really just completing something that you started. I was proud of that. It kept me going. Now I look back and I'm like, you know, it's actually very it's a strength to be able to identify when things aren't working and actually just stop and not push through sometimes. Pushing through sometimes isn't the answer. It would have given me a lot of like more years of the thing that I love to do now. But actually, I don't know. You know, in retrospect, I don't know. We'll see. No, we won't see. But yeah, that's how it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the acknowledgement that in following someone else's path for us, we often miss really precious years that could be ours, and when we can't actually get those back.
The shitty part, and that's like the grieving part. But yeah, it made me who I am. It gave me the experiences I needed. I don't know. I can talk to any person in the elevator about debits and credits. So that's good.
There is actually a pretty parallel process of debits and credits. Like, what's your balance sheet look like for your nutritional life, right? And so
Yeah.
I see a thread there that I think we could weave really easily.
I think that this profession is extremely nuanced, and like the people that come to me wanting debits and credits and certainty are like,
Right in front of you.
okay, okay, all right. No, that's good to know. And it's good that you know that about yourself, you know? I do have some clients that come in with like, I want to lose like 20 pounds. Like, can you help me? And I have to give them my honest take that no, I won't actually be able to help you exactly in that way. It's very nuanced. We measure your health through other metrics, like in addition to weight. If weight is important to them, then we look into it and we talk about it and we understand why it's so important.
Yeah.
So, for some people, the first appointment is also their last, and that is absolutely okay and great.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we're getting into like work stuff.
I mean, but that is brilliant because I have a lot of people show up in my clinic and say, my goal is to not feel anxious. And I'm like, the way that I can help you is to teach you how to feel anxious. And they're like, I'm going to leave now. And I'm like, I got it. So there's, like, okay, that's fine. And for people who are willing to have the conversation a little bit longer, we talk about why that is the case.
Yes.
But for some of us, we have been holding on to this idea. We've been like fused to this number or this idea that if I was just anxiety free, if I was just, I mean, I remember in my early 20s, it was like, if I was just 110 pounds, I would be happy. As if it would like unlock this like magical place in my heart and joy would be just bountiful and consistent all the time. And I also remember getting down to, so in the height of one of my cocaine rampages, so I like to say I've done cocaine twice. I've done it once for 8 months, and then I did it the second time for 6 months. And
Okay.
in the first,
I didn't even know that. That's good to know.
I too see things through, whether it is a good idea or a bad idea.
I
I
like
am
it.
incredible with commitment.
Okay.
I got down to 85 pounds at my lowest.
Jenny.
Yeah. Well, I stopped eating and I just did cocaine. I drank Sprite and would eat
Okay.
mini muffins out of the, what are those food containers that you put money into? All I
Vending
can
machine?
think of. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
Uh,
convection oven. It's a vending machine. But box with food in it is within that schema.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I got down to 85 pounds. My girlfriend was like, "Oh, you should probably get on the scale because you are alarmingly small." And I remember being like looking at it and just in disbelief. Because it's like, well, I thought like I was so sure that 110 and anything under would equal happiness and joy and ease. And then, at 85 it was like, "Oh, well this is far under."
So you actually acknowledge that it was far under.
Oh yeah, it was terrifying. It was like, oh, this is probably a problem. Like this has become problematic and this is not actually like this is actually undeniable evidence that there is a problem. It wasn't my cocaine dealer being like, I don't think you're depressed. I think you have a horrible cocaine problem. It was getting to 85 pounds and realizing, oh my God, like this, like I didn't even know. So just a total disconnect, right? But to your point about like a lot of us have this idea that there is some magical number, that if I get to that magical number, that it will unlock my inner power.
Essentially.
Yeah. And then they'll be free. How do you start to help someone? Well, you know what? Maybe what we do is maybe that's actually part of what we work on
Yeah,
today.
like we can absolutely get into this because, I mean, I didn't know this part of your life. This is a huge part of your life.
It was certainly a huge part of my history. So yeah, so we'll real play. So I'm just gonna be
Sure.
me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be me, and
All
I'm gonna
right.
tell you my stuff, and
We
we'll
can
see.
also kind of pretend like, you're coming in for an intake. And yes, what are your objectives? Like I'm gonna start typing. Like this is exactly how it goes in session. I usually know why I have a little snippet of why. I don't send any intake forms. You don't fill anything out really except for like liability and like all the fun things
Corporate
like
stuff.
that
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
But really I just like we both just meet for the first time.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, why are you here? Like, what's up? How are you? Like, you gave me like a one sentence about like what you're trying to achieve, but like, I want to hear, you talking.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Here we
So
go.
like, what would you have written if you scheduled this appointment? What is something you would have written?
I want to get to 130 pounds
Okay.
and I want to be able to maintain like a 4 pound range with like within that. Yeah, whether that's like 29 up to 33, whether that's 30 up to 40 or up to 34, right? But just like I know that's yeah, that like 4 pound like that flexibility.
Sure.
And so right now I'm at 139. So in my head I have okay, 9 pounds less is the like that's my goal. That's my
Okay.
goal.
Okay. That's your goal.
That's my goal.
That's it. You have gone online, you found me, and you're like, all right, I think this chick can help me with these last 9 pounds.
Yeah, so I think what drew me to you specifically was your stance on taking a more holistic approach to like health and nutrition and just like living in this rental unit that I'm in.
Like, okay, yes, yeah.
Yeah, the tenant's not really getting older, but the rental unit is. And what I have noticed is that I have lost this weight before,
Hmm?
right? So had my first baby 7 years ago, and then right when she was around 3 years old, I was like, okay, like let's get back and fit and tone. 130 is where I am generally most comfortable in the clothes that I have and that I wear. It's like in a body that I feel is most fit and that like works the best in the world for me,
Totally.
which I like that.
Hmm.
So it's not necessarily about like happiness in this like really narrow definition, like, oh, I'm so happy.
Right.
But it's more oriented towards like this is a weight that historically I have been really comfortable at. And so when I got down to that weight, and there's all these other variables, so I'll
Yes.
always
Always.
I got always. When I got down to that weight, I was using one of these like online calorie counters that like broke it apart into like green, yellow, orange. That was a really helpful framework for me. I hit that number and I reached out. I remember reaching out to the company being like, sick, hit my goal. What do I do now? Because I don't want to lose more weight.
Mm,
And they were like, oh, we don't actually have any like maintenance programs. Yeah. And so I was like, oh,
okay.
like what do I like?
What a great business model too, because then you just have to continue like, well, yeah, I guess if you continue to pursue that same model, you would continue to lose weight. So maybe they should add the maintenance plan too.
You
Just
would you would think, and I was so confused. 'Cause I was like,
okay.
"Well, I'm happy here,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what to do now.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I got pregnant, and
Again.
yeah, then I got pregnant again,
Okay.
and so it
Okay.
was like I was at this weight, and then I got pregnant again, and then I got like a case of the fuckets, and like I ate different for baby two than baby one. I was much more relaxed. Baby one was I was very very like
Researching everything and like reading all the books. Yeah.
just like buttoned up about it,
Okay.
right? Like I wanted to give her like good foods and make this nice house. Baby too, I was like, you can have a pastry, you can have a queen of mine, you're gonna be fine. Like
Awesome.
this is
So
so
it laxed you out a little bit too with your food intake
yeah,
and like your food choices. Okay.
yep. And now I have a 3 year old again.
You're back in that space. Yeah.
I'm back in that space. And so I want, like, I have this very distinct memory of being in that body right before I got pregnant again and being really comfortable in that body and seeing images of that body that I was like, yeah, that looks like that's a like fit body. That like body is athletic. That body is like well cared for. It is nourished. It's like eating things that like I'm feeding it things that it needs.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so that was really like that was a nice time. But now I find that as I think about trying to hit that goal again, I start to have a little sense of panic because I don't know what to do once I get there.
Well, obviously, the only thing to do is just use that program again. I'm totally kidding.
I mean, and truth be told, I am using it a little like it is, but I don't want to do just that because I'm using it in terms of the like the awareness around calories. Tracking ends up being this mindfulness practice for me for
Okay,
a
that's
certain
helpful
amount of,
to know.
yep, super helpful. I don't carry a lot of shame around it. Back to the like debits and credits, I can see like, like I had a queen on this morning. I'm like, okay, well that's my delish sugar pastry treat for the day.
I don't know what that is. Can you say that again?
Quinamon, it's the most wonderful. It's this like, it's basically a croissant that gets like before it's baked, they put a bunch of sugar on the inside and then they fold it up and it's laminated. It's this like really wonderful sugar croissant. I will bring one to you next time I see
Okay.
you and we will just delight in the
Okay.
Quinamon world.
How do you say it?
Quinamon, I think it's like KouginAman, Quinamon.
Very, very French.
Very French.
Okay, it's like aligned with my C'est la vie
Yes.
name. Okay, that sounds cool. I've never had one.
They're wonderful. They're
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay, so you had that this morning, sorry.
Yeah, I had that this morning, and yeah, so the program helps with this idea of like having a check-in device, having some like debits and credits system, and being able to just sort of like attend to the choices that I've been making through the day, which helps me be more mindful of those choices. But yeah, I don't want like,
You want to do that forever?
I don't want to do that forever.
Got it. Okay. It's not something like you're okay with doing it for, finite amount of time, but you don't want to be logging your meals and your snacks and your beverages and like your exercise forever. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not good for me. It's not helpful.
Okay. Because it is helpful now. It sounds like in the long term it can become this obsessive thing. Maybe. I don't know.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Because it becomes this evidence data center
Yeah.
that is like, "Oh, look it, I did it. I did so,
Not only did you do so good, but then it becomes I am so good.
yeah. And then if I take that away, do
Or if
I,
or if you don't follow it beautifully or strictly or have something you're proud of that you put on that tracker, then you didn't do so good and therefore you are.
100%.
It becomes this like morality thing, is what I see in practice.
Yeah, 100%. This becomes the measure of my worth. Yeah. And if I fail at this, I have failed at everything. And then I can eat Queen Amans all day and
Yeah.
only Queen Amans.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Which you're gonna definitely not get sick of. Of course not.
No, never. Like literally never.
How about that? We should do an experiment.
Yeah, I like that. I'm deeply uncomfortable with that idea.
I mean, that is something we do in sessions too. I mean, it's obviously a suggestion. I'm always suggesting things. But yes, like what would it be like if you actually had one a day or half of a day or like half of one a day? Or even like, what are you even comfortable trying? Like we come up with a goal for you that is like uncomfortable, but like you're kind of interested and curious about how or where it would lead to.
Yeah. I mean, a Queen Amon a day. Like Brenda is pretty sure that if we have a Queen Amon a day, that we are going to have 12 Queen Amons a day.
See, and this is weird for like the nutritionist to suggest too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you saying, Natalie?
Yeah.
Just stop here. You're not doing a very good job at this whole like promoting yourself thing.
Yeah. Like Queen Amons are
Yeah,
not carrots.
that's correct. But the idea that I don't know how much for you it gives you a sense of like, I'm not on track or I am on track,
Hmm.
or I'm lazy because I gave in to this temptation, or like you feel this like emotional charge around it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's where we explore that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a fun and terrifying framework because where it creates the emotional charge is in that idea of debits and credits. I have a history of like compensatory behaviors.
Absolutely.
And this,
Yeah.
I love that you're like,
I'm like, yeah, that checks out.
yeah,
Okay. I can
that,
like almost tell you
yeah.
without knowing, like, all right, I know that this happened in your life. Okay, but I try not to assume. But yes, compensatory and compulsive behavior,
Oh
right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. They are driven by distress, um, and they're there to get away from distress. When I so historically, I have used things, and this I mean this is dating back to like 13 years old, right? So like
This.
yeah, I have used things like pink pills, so poop the pills that make you shit your brains out.
So laxatives?
Yep, yeah, yeah, there we go. So the pink pills, and then tried binging, but it's just too much of an event, and like purging, not binging, but more purging. But yeah, it's just too much. It's too much of an event, and I like my teeth. Like I had braces, and I like my teeth.
Yeah, I'd get that.
Yeah. But my most common compensatory behavior is like working out, like overworking out,
Okay. Exercise.
right? And so, and that has been characteristic. It was, no, I just used cocaine because I had a cocaine problem. I was like, did I use cocaine to lose? No, I didn't use cocaine to lose weight.
You didn't use cocaine to lose weight.
No, 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 no. That was just for to get like less drunk.
Oh,
That was in a different, yeah, different world,
okay.
like functioning in a different way.
Got it.
But so historically it's been working out where I've used working out as this like work it off.
Yep.
And when I used the program a few years ago, that was actually set the goal to just work on changing how I approach food and to not work out at all. Like I would still do like steps and I would still, so it was like this really, like even now I have this like huge surge of like, oh, like this like adrenaline that is like coursing through me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the first time I've ever attempted to change my weight through changing my diet
Okay.
and not
And not exercise.
and not exercising at all.
When was this?
So this was 4 years ago.
Okay. Got it.
4 years
This
ago
was like, wait, was this after the first pregnancy?
after the first pregnancy.
Okay.
Yeah. So first time. Yeah.
And how did that go?
It went great. I was amazed that
I've like so many like how did you not exercise? Did you have to wean off of not exercising or you just went cold turkey and you're like I am not going to try and like burn off the calories or like none of that. Like I'm not going to tie them in together.
yeah, I just went cold turkey.
That's impressive.
It was a lot.
Yeah, that's really hard.
It was really hard.
Okay.
But I'm sober. I'm like I can quit things. I quit smoking. That was hard. That was that. I quit drinking, quit using cocaine, quit using marijuana, right? Like I know I can quit stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You
You
know?
already have that like
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, totally. This was this once thing quitting those things because like you were saying earlier, right? Like it becomes this measure of like worth, like did I work out hard enough? Did I like move my body enough? Like
Yeah.
did I?
Not only that, but I don't know if you felt this experience of like, what do I do with the time that I now have back?
Totally. And so like I would go for walks just because like but it took a lot of intention and attending to how the walk was going to not be out there like swinging, like working it up.
I'm so impressed
It
because
was
that is something that usually you need to be so aware of yourself and your tendencies and like I mean I can relate to this so much but for you to be able to like do this for like by yourself for yourself I'm really impressed by it.
cute.
Wow. So you like when you wanted to push you did not and when your brain went you need to burn off that thing that you had or you're about to have something like really high calorie like let's not prepare for it by crazy working out.
Hmm.
You stopped yourself.
Hmm.
You actually stopped yourself.
Hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, we this week,
Yes.
I really want to live in a body that is well cared for and loved, and like even talking about it now, like that has not been the case for many years of my life. And I just don't think that's sustainable,
Yeah.
and it's not like I don't want, like, I genuinely love working out. I love exercising. I love Pilates. I love spin. Like, I love these like high intensity things. And it like sucks the life out of them when it becomes like wrapped into my eating and my like body and my self-worth. Like, I want it to be a gift that I give to my body, And I think even beyond that, like, I just recognize that like that model of like eat whatever I want and then work out so hard that I almost like that I feel like I'm gonna die. That model is doesn't scale.
Doesn't
It's
scale.
not gonna work when I'm like 80.
No, no, it doesn't.
I don't even know that it works at 50 or
It's not sustainable.
it's not
And
sustainable.
not only that, I do think that your life actually kind of you're a slave to it. It's always this thing that's like right here reminding you, like, you still have to do this.
Totally.
You're not free to just be.
Yeah, totally. Like I would have to do like a 75-minute class on the Peloton instead of like snuggling with my husband and watching Love is Blind. And like that is a sacrifice I'm not willing to make anymore.
Right.
Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
Powerful that you were aware enough to say like I think there might be something better than this or this is too much suffering that I don't want to like deal with anymore. I'm gonna make a change to get to that point. Like did you need therapy for that or did you just get there yourself?
I think what is really the gift of being an ACT and exposure therapist, is that like we get to work with people all day and then you're like, God damn it, I have to do this now. Yeah, I really, and so I have my own sort of like values clarification process that really started happening. So my dad died right before Elsie was born.
Okay.
And there's something about like really coming close contact with our mortality that is like
Oh, yeah.
everything gets clear.
Hmm.
It did for me. And he didn't take great care of his rental unit,
Of his mental health, you said?
of his rental unit.
Rental unit.
Yeah. Like loved beer, loved tequila, loved big burritos. So much so that when he started losing weight at the end of his life and stopped drinking, we didn't attribute rapid weight loss to something wrong with him. We were like, oh, he has stopped drinking so much tequila and beer. It was like, no, he has like stage 4 liver cancer.
Oh,
And like, this is that, right?
right.
And so, but he didn't take care of himself. And I have memories of when he did, and it was really anchored, it was reactive. Like my mom left him, he started working out and got super, like, did that like revenge body thing, and like got his revenge body going. But then when it didn't work, he let it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I want, yeah, like my health is really important to me.
Yeah. And I'm sure it became even like there was a new dimension to it as you became a mom. I'm assuming. I'm
Yes.
about to become a mom, and I'm like, oh my God, now I have to, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because now I'm like, okay, well, is this something I want to teach my girls to do? Like how to maintain a healthy and fit body? Like, is this the strategy I want to teach them? And if the answer is no, why am I using that strategy with me? Right? And having them as this sort of like guiding light where it's like, okay, so now it's not just about my health. Now it's also about being a parent and
Yeah.
being able to like model this like degree of self-care and like physical health care that wasn't modeled for me, that is actually really important to me. Yeah,
Maybe also because it wasn't modeled to you. Yeah.
totally. So, yeah, what was modeled for me was compensatory behaviors
Really? Like with your dad or with your mom
with my
or
mom.
with your mom. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like
Yeah,
the
so
relationship that you saw from your perspective that she had with food and her body
always on a diet, right? Always unhappy with her body,
and telling you how unhappy she is, right?
telling me how unhappy she is. It was no secret the things that she didn't like about her body. And it was never presented in this like tender, soft way. There's that recognition that like, oh yeah, babe, like we all have stuff we don't like about our body. Like sometimes mom doesn't like the way her butt looks in certain jeans. And you know what? Those are tough days. I still wear the jeans, but it wasn't like that.
Really, really like Brenda-esque, like
Yeah.
Max, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
meanest voice that she could muster up was being said out loud.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And then I have really clear memories of her talking about having to work out,
Hmm?
right? Like, oh, I had a big this or I had a big this. Like I have to work out. I have to work out. So it was either I have to diet or I have to work out. There was always this like rule that was presented, and I like heard that, like clear, got it, sick. This is how we do it. Cool. Rules. We have to lose weight all the time. We have to diet or work out in order to do that.
Hmm?
And that is like, and then something will happen and we will not feel like this anymore.
Did you ever see that part for her? Like her reaching that like ecstatic state of just pure bliss and happiness?
No, wouldn't that be fun for all of us?
Be really confirming. Like I would be like, all right, let's keep doing what she's doing.
Yeah, no, no, no. But what I did see was reassurance. Oh, you don't need that. Oh, you don't this. Oh, you're right there. I think even though she never achieved the happiness that, or the like sense of ease or like liking herself, we would reassure her
Wow.
that like, no, you don't need to work, and people, you're so thin, like, you don't need to do that, right? And so I think, and I can't say, obviously like wasn't there taking notes, but I must have picked up on that to some degree, right? Like because now when like people reassure people about things. I'm like real twitchy about it.
You're like a reassurance radar, like everywhere you go.
100% everywhere, everywhere. So much so that I'm like, we are not going to say anything to this person because they are not actually paying us for our input right now. And it is not really helpful to relationships.
Did you feel like you needed to provide her with reassurance?
100%.
Did she ask for it?
Not directly, but I could tell it worked for a little bit, right? Because her mood would change after.
It's like classic OCD, right? You just provide the reassurance and there's like the temporary relief.
100%.
Yeah, but it's interesting, like she never actually like asked you directly, "Hey,
Didn't.
can you tell me like am I fat or
Nope. Because it would not OCD. She doesn't have OCD. Like it was never that direct and clear of a pathway. It was more this like vocalizing of her
yeah.
discontent
Mhm.
and like being unable to like regulate.
But you knowing how like finding a way
Yeah,
to regulate her.
totally.
Wow.
Which is a dynamic that got set up really young, and I see that with my brother and sister too. Like
Does it come up for you when you do see her? Does that tendency to just like immediately try to comfort her kick in?
it did for a long time, and it started to change when I quit drinking. So I got sober for the first time in 2009, and she told me like you don't need to get sober, and I was like, to be clear, I take Pinot Grigio into the shower around 10
Okay.
a.m.
She told you that you don't need to get sober.
Yeah, she was like, you don't have a drinking problem, and I'm like, I don't have a football problem, you know what I mean?
It's also, I mean, your relationship with your mom, we could probably get into. That one's deep, 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 deep.
Many years of therapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The fact that she's like literally not endorsing you taking better care of yourself is already like, what is happening here?
Well, drinking was a really big part of our relationship for a long time. It's what we would do together.
Got it.
We would go to the bar, we'd go down to Tommy Bahamas in, Maui and like put them back, wander our way, smoke secret cigarettes, right? Like mom had a lot of secretive behavior that she did that was like really hurtful for me when I was young to see, but that I then like learned like, ah yes, this is how we engage in
That's
a
how you
relationship.
connect.
Yeah, this is how
Yeah.
we connect. That's
Uh-huh.
right. So she didn't think I had a drinking problem. I definitely had a drinking problem. And then our relationship really started to change after I got sober and got in therapy. And a big part of that was recognizing that I could have boundaries and that it wasn't actually my job to regulate her emotionally. Yeah, I think therapy's just so good like that, right? You're like, oh, okay. And so, I mean, we even did some, I mean, I guess it's exposure. It wasn't like explicitly exposure work in the way that like we didn't have a menu, we weren't like chunking it down, but it was like, okay, well, how about we don't call mom in the morning and evening? Like, what if we just call her once a day? And then from there, what if we go down to like 3 times a week? And then what if we just do like a weekly? And so, like, as I started to get some distance from her, I started to see a lot of the like patterns of my own behavior that weren't really workable. And also, like, just the places where it's like, ah, yes, there you are, mom.
Did you have guilt, like pushing in a way, kind of choosing to distance yourself?
I feel guilty even right now talking about it.
Really?
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah, that persists. Yeah, I feel very guilty. Which is not to say that that is going to stop me from like I can feel guilty.
Sure.
Yeah, like
Sure.
I'm okay with feeling guilty about this. There's
It's
other kind of guilt. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. And yeah, and it's not so big that it is like suffocating and that I can't like breathe.
Mhm.
It was at first, which is why I was like, we'll just call her in the morning.
Okay.
But so that was in 2009 when that process started. Then in, like there were a series of like small step backs that I took in the relationship. And then in 2015, I want to say, she wrote something that was like a last straw. She wrote something on Facebook. Yeah, that I was just like over it. And I was like, I'm just not going to call her I'm just not going to call her. And let's,
There like a very hot and cold situation happening in your relationship? Was there like were times where you were like so deeply connected? This woman just got you. It sounds like it was kind of tumultuous.
yeah, yeah, it was very tumultuous. After I got sober and after I stopped calling as much or like reassuring her that she was a great mom, because that was direct, right? Like I've ruined your life.
The
I've
parentified daughter. It's like so. Have you read Bethany Webster's book?
mm-mm.
It's called Rediscovering Your Inner Mother, I think. I think you might really jive with that.
Okay, writing it down. What is it? Bethany Webster, you said?
Bethany Webster, this is like her life's work, like pretty much mother-daughter relationship. And it's called Rediscovering Your Inner Mother or something.
Okay, I'll do it and I'll put it in the show notes.
Discovering the Inner Mother. Discovering the Inner Mother.
Yeah, definitely hot and cold. If I, so the way that I think about the relationship with her is that I can either be exactly who she wants and needs me to be, or I can be a gray rock. That's how I have a relationship with her.
That's rough.
It's really, really hard. It's really hard. And so in 2015, I didn't call. I was like, well, let's just see if she initiates.
Or initiates, right?
Yeah. And then she did 3 times over the course of 7 years. And they were at like really inopportune times. At like 3 o'clock in the morning, I would get a cryptic voicemail about like, I wish the universe wasn't separating us or something.
Okay. It wasn't like 9 a.m. I was thinking about you. How are you doing?
No, no.
Intentional. Kind of like a, by the way, it's 3 a.m. and I'm really upset that we're not super close. Okay.
No, no. If there was anything that was like, I'm upset about this, it'd be like, I'm upset I can't see my grandchildren.
Oh, the guilt. Oh my gosh.
She's
Like a
very,
Jewish mother.
very skillful.
I guess it's like a mother thing. It's not a Jewish mother or this mother. It's just a mother thing, possibly.
Possibly. I think for some mothers, I don't necessarily use guilt to hook the girls.
Good call.
But I'm also like really trying not to,
Yeah.
In
This
the
is
same
the
way,
growth and beauty. Like, this is the evolution of humanity. Like, yes, you are trying to do the thing that hurt you so deeply in your childhood.
yes, we're trying
Yeah.
not to, like, we're trying not to get her deep 11s in between my eyebrow. And then we're trying not to use guilt as yeah, like a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so she called me on my 40th birthday, not as like a gift, I think, but she, like she called and was like, happy 40th. I would, I hope you're well. And I had always told my dad that if she calls me, that I will open, like the door is open. Like all she has to do is like, yeah, like make some sort of effort. And then she did. So we've been texting back and forth for the past 2 years now. It's pretty loose. I tried to go to Tucson to see her last year, and that was a disaster.
God.
Yeah, I met my aunt down there, my dad's sister, and we got there and reached out to mom, and she wasn't answering. And I talked to her the day before too, being like, can't wait to see you. She's like, I'm so excited.
I think I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, and then
Okay, so you were there, right? And like you couldn't get a hold of her,
couldn't
right?
get a hold of her.
Oh my gosh.
And then finally her husband calls and is like, oh, well, she has COVID. She might be better by tomorrow. And I was like, well, I just don't know that that's how that works. And also, like, I don't know. I've talked to you a few times this week, and that would have been great information before we traveled.
Yes.
But anyway, so we're sort of like dancing in and out of relation. And I'm seeing if I can be not necessarily who she wants, but also not a gray rock. Jury's out.
Really have to like change who you are to have a relationship with her. It's really hard.
It is.
We're not going to get into this right now, but I'm fascinated by how her mother treated her.
Same. And also, like, my mom is an unreliable reporter at best. So
Sometimes it's so hard to also tap into your best self as a mom, probably, because you didn't have the example. Like you really did not. It's so hard.
so for me, I have been very fortunate in that as soon as I started letting go of her as the example that I needed, I started finding all of these other women that were just like brilliant role models, whether there are women in the professional world or my aunts or like a past therapist. It was like all of like suddenly I was like, I looked around, it was like a forest of like brilliant women who could model healthy relation for me. And I was so grateful for, I think there's this funny thing that happens where we hold on so tightly to something that we don't actually have any hands to hold something else
Yeah, that's beautifully said.
so tightly to the
Yeah.
idea that it was going to be her.
Yeah. And there's still a little bit of holding on to it.
I
There's
mean,
always that hope.
yeah, totally. Like that seed has not yet been crushed, but I don't like, I'm more curious. I don't expect it to be her. I don't need it to be her.
That's so nice to say. Like it's so nice to actually get to that point. That probably took a really long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this work started in 2009. The like prying my fingers off of this conceptualized idea that if I could just contort myself enough.
Do you ever think about like what will happen to you when your mom passes? Almost like you'll kind of give her the benefit of the doubt even more than before and like see all the good and like almost kind of feel this immense guilt that you it's so messy. And by the way, this has nothing to do with nutrition.
No, you don't think so?
Well,
You don't think all of my perfectionism and emotion regulation strategies and over control?
see, but this is you're aware of it. And this is where like things take a turn in our in sessions. It starts with I want to lose weight and it's like my mom is like someone I adore and I just can't be loved by.
Yeah, totally.
I can't be this person that she wants me to be. No matter how much I like wave my hands and like, tell like beg to be loved, like just not gonna happen.
Yeah, she just can't do it.
So that shit is deep.
Totally. Totally.
And you're aware of it. Also, I would assume that as like a client, if you're coming to me, you're probably also wanting to dig into this stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, this is not my scope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is another thing, by the way, that does bother me. And this is a bother me not because I don't love to get into it. I love this. This is the work. I'm sorry, but it is like
Yep. Yeah.
not to say that there isn't like the role of the dietitian and the nutritionist, but I sometimes think that that's the gateway to therapy.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely premise. This idea that there are so many different gatekeepers into therapy,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes we can identify really quickly, like, I need to see it there. Like, I need to see someone about this stuff. But sometimes we're like, if I was only 130 pounds, I could finally watch Love is Blind with my husband and not have to like annihilate myself in a 75, right? And so I imagine that you have a lot of people in the same way that like primary care physicians have a lot of people coming in
Yeah.
and they're like, I am so depressed or I am so sad or I am so anxious. And they're like, see my friend Jenny, right? Like you're gonna need to see,
Mhm.
yes, and see my friend Jenny.
You're like the doctor of the soul.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
it's true.
You.
A lot of like we carry so much pain and it's mostly a lot of it is really emotional that then turns into just psychological pain or something tangible that we can like, address,
Yeah.
on the surface. But yeah, like I'm sure you see it all the time that people actually make lifelong changes, like sustainable and staying, like the weight maintenance kind of thing that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
That's not a program. That's like understanding yourself and your trauma and your biases and the voice that you lead with, right? Like is Brenda driving your life or are you driving your life? Like how can you cultivate more kindness to yourself? Like how can you actually speak to yourself with respect?
Mm.
That shifts everything. That's like the foundation of making the positive changes that you're looking for
Yeah.
and that you're outsourcing to other people.
Yeah.
You have that strength.